If you're over 60, you may not even imagine that a simple daily habit practiced for years can trigger a stroke in just a few hours. And worst of all, even without chest pain or warning signs, there's no alert, no time to ask for help. You simply enter what should be the safest place in your house and come out forever changed. I am Dr. Melissa Turner, and in my more than 20 years attending 2 stroke patients, what scares me most are not the obvious cases, like those who've smoked for decades or have serious heart conditions. What truly worries me are the seniors who seem in perfect health, who've followed every recommendation, yet still end up in the emergency room with speech problems and paralysis of the limbs. All because of something as seemingly trivial as a daily bath. What I'm going to tell you will surprise you. Few people know it. Not doctors, not family members, not magazines, not even hospital discharge documents mention it. There are 5 bathing habits that silently favor a stroke, and these accidents are not rare. They happen every day, in thousands of homes, to people like you. Before continuing, if you're not yet subscribed, hit that bell so you won't miss any health advice tailored just for you. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. If not, give us a 0 so we can improve. Now, let me tell you a story that changed everything for me. Margaret was 73. A vibrant woman who had lived alone in the same house for 4 decades. Every day at 9 p.m., she took a hot bath. It was a sacred ritual to relieve her aches and relax before bed. One Tuesday night, everything seemed normal. The warm water flowed over her body, giving her that comforting sense of relief, as always. But 20 minutes later, while drying off, something strange happened. She felt dizzy and nauseous. When her daughter found her the next morning, Margaret could barely speak properly, couldn't move her right arm, and couldn't understand how her life had taken such a turn. The stroke took away her independence in a matter of hours, and the triggerer bath that seemed so innocent and comforting but was actually a silent trap. What Margaret didn't know, and what almost nobody knows, is that after 60, our bodies no longer tolerate the bathing habits that served us for years. Tonight, I will explain exactly why this happens, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself. Let's start with the most dangerous habit: taking very hot baths before bedtime. You know that hot bath that relaxes everything: muscles, joints, fatigue. It's tempting, right? But here's the problem. When the water is too hot, blood vessels dilate rapidly, like balloons inflating. This dilation causes a sudden drop in blood pressure, sometimes 20 to 30 points in minutes. For younger people with flexible blood vessels, this might go unnoticed. But for those over 60, with less elastic arteries, this change can be extremely dangerous. As you age, your body no longer works the way it used to. Blood vessels harden. The heart may struggle more to pump blood, and this sudden drop in blood pressure doesn't just cause momentary discomfort. It can deprive the brain of much-needed oxygen. It's not just that fleeting dizziness we sometimes feel. When pressure in aged arteries falls, blood flow decreases drastically. And slow-flowing blood is the perfect breeding ground for clot-silent killers. These clots can lodge in brain arteries and cause sudden, devastating strokes. I will never forget Robert, a patient who deeply impacted me. He was 78, a retired professor, and for 15 years ended his day with that 20-minute hot shower that steamed up every mirror in the house. He called it his therapy session. But one night, just a few minutes after exiting the shower, Robert collapsed in his bedroom. His wife found him unable to speak, face drooping to one side. In the hospital, tests confirmed my fears. A large clot had formed during the blood pressure drop caused by the hot shower, traveled to his brain, and blocked a critical artery. The bath he thought was safe had set the stage for tragedy. What you need to understand is simple: your body at 70 isn't what it was at 40. Those flexible, adaptable blood vessels now struggle to maintain stable blood pressure. Every hot shower is like playing Russian roulette with your circulatory system. But that's just the beginning. If you think it's only the heat you have to worry about, wait until you hear about the next mistake. Could be even more fatal. Dangerous habit number 2. Showering immediately after eating or taking medications. Picture a common scene in thousands of homes. You finish dinner, take your blood pressure medication, and shower. Sounds logical, right? But this routine could be one of the biggest mistakes you ever make. After a heavy meal, the body automatically shifts blood flow from the brain to the digestive system. That's normal and part of digestion, but it means less blood is getting to your brain at that moment. Now, if you shower with hot water, it draws even more blood to your skin's surface. The result: your brain, the organ that controls everything, starts operating with dangerously low energy. The same happens with some medications. Blood pressure meds, heart medications, even painkillers can affect blood flow, making you more vulnerable to the blood pressure drop caused by bathing. When these factors combine, the risk rises dramatically. I remember Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who learned the hard way. Every night, after dinner and her medication, she'd take a hot bath to help her sleep. She'd done this routine for years with no issues until one night, 10 minutes after showering, the room started spinning. Paramedics found her unconscious on the bathroom floor. The crash was swift and merciless. Her blood pressure dropped so much that a clot formed in a weakened artery, blocking the part of the brain responsible for speech. She survived, but never spoke clearly again. That's why timing your bath is more important than you might think. As the brain ages, it can't tolerate these sudden blood flow changes. When circulation dips, clots start forming, and when they break free, they can cause a stroke. Even more devastatingly, the brain tissue that dies never grows back. So rule number 1, wait at least 1 hour after eating or taking medications before showering. Give your body time to adjust. Your brain depends on it. And if you think the risks end with hot water or bad timing, just wait for the next surprising danger, because this one involves something found in every bathroom, and that most elderly people don't even realize is dangerous. Dangerous habit number 3. Taking long showers in steamy, unventilated bathrooms. Picture it. You close the door, turn on the hot water, and let steam envelop you, turning the bathroom into a kind of personal sauna. The sensation is delightful, almost luxurious. Heat penetrates your tired muscles, and for a few precious minutes, you feel renewed, but this comfort can be a silent trap. When hot water evaporates in a closed space, it not only fogs the mirrors, it also robs the air of oxygen. Meanwhile, the heat dilates your blood vessels, causing blood pressure to fall. Now combine that deoxygenated air with an aged, unstable circulatory system. The result is a perfect recipe for a cerebral emergency. Blood thickens as oxygen levels drop. This thicker blood flows slowly through already narrowed arteries, and slow circulation is the perfect setup for clot formation, clots that can obstruct vital brain arteries in minutes. I know Thomas, a 71-year-old mechanic who loved long, hot showers. Every morning, he'd spend about 25 minutes in that small, unventilated bathroom, surrounded by dense fog, almost like he was inside a cloud. He said it helped his arthritis. But one morning, his wife heard a strange noise and found Thomas lying on the floor, barely conscious, with blue lips from lack of oxygen. It was a huge shock. At the hospital, we found several small clots had already formed in that bathroom. In that deoxygenated environment, these silent strokes began destroying his brain tissue. Thomas survived but never regained full memory. The fog that seemed relaxing was, in fact, suffocating his brain. This is the truth almost no one knows about bathroom steam. It's not just heat, it's a gradual reduction of essential oxygen reaching your brain. Every minute spent trapped in that moist environment, it's another minute your aged circulation struggles to deliver vital oxygen to your most important organ. So shower less than 10 minutes and always ensure good ventilation. Open a window or turn on a fan. Never stay trapped in a steamy room thinking it's harmless, because damage happens silently until it's too late. And if you think only hot or steamy showers are dangerous, wait until you learn about cold showers. This one can kill in seconds, not minutes. Dangerous habit number 4. Suddenly exposing yourself to cold water, especially first thing in the morning. Nowadays, it's impossible not to see people raving about cold showers. Fitness influencers, health gurus, even some doctors recommend starting the day with a cold blast to wake the body up. For those in their 20s, bursting with energy, it might even work. But for people over 60, with stiffer arteries and a heart that's not as strong, that cold shock can be a deadly trap. When cold water hits the skin, vessels constrict suddenly. Natural response to cold. But it's like slamming on the brakes in a speeding car. Blood pressure can spike sometimes 40 to 50 points in seconds, if your arteries are already narrowed by cholesterol buildup or age-related stiffening. This sudden jump in pressure can cause tiny tears in the vessel walls. And guess what your body does? It forms clots to try to repair the damage. But those clots don't stay put. They can break loose and travel directly to your brain. I'll never forget James, 68, man proud of his health. After watching a show praising cold therapy, he decided to start each morning with a cold shower. "It makes me feel alive," he said. And for weeks it seemed fine until one Monday morning, his wife heard a noise and found him unconscious in the shower. When paramedics arrived, James couldn't move the left side of his body and was slurring his words. His face drooped and his eyes reflected the shock of someone with serious brain damage. The CT scan showed the worst, a massive stroke caused by a clot that had formed precisely during that spike in blood pressure. The cold shock, he thought invigorating, ended up rupturing the fragile walls of his arteries. The clot reached his brain in minutes. The man who just wanted to feel more alive almost lost his life. This is the cruel irony of cold showers for seniors. What energizes a young body can be a sentence for weakened blood vessels. At 70, your arteries can't tolerate sudden temperature changes. What seems like a shortcut to vitality may actually pave the way to tragedy. If you want to feel refreshed, start slowly. Use lukewarm water and cool it gradually. Never dunk your body suddenly into extreme temperatures. Take care of your brain and avoid unnecessary stress. What seems like a shortcut back to energy may really be the fastest path to a stroke. And even though cold is dangerous, you might be surprised to know what the fifth and final mistake is, something millions of older people make every night, without even realizing it. A mistake that sets the stage for disaster while they sleep. Dangerous habit number 5. Showering very late at night, just before going to bed. This might be the most common and the most dangerous mistake, precisely because it occurs while we're asleep, when we're most vulnerable and least able to ask for help. For millions of older adults, a hot bath before bed is the perfect way to end the day. The house is quiet, the day's stress has faded, and that warm water feels like the ideal way to relax and fall asleep. A moment of comfort, of peace, that seems completely innocent, but that's where the danger lies. This seemingly harmless habit could silently be setting you up for a stroke while you dream. Let me explain what happens in your body. When you shower late, your internal temperature rises while your natural biological rhythm, the circadian rhythm, tries to do the opposite. Cool you down for sleep. This internal conflict overloads the cardiovascular system. Hot water dilates blood vessels, sending blood to the skin and away from vital organs. And as your body tries to cool down, it begins to lose fluids through sweating even if you don't notice. For a young body, this may still be manageable, but for those over 60, especially if you take blood pressure medications or diuretics, this combination can be fatal. Dehydration combined with low blood pressure at night. When you're dehydrated, your blood thickens. That thicker blood flows more slowly through arteries that are already narrower and stiffer with age. And when circulation slows during sleep, it creates the perfect environment for clots to form. These silent clots can lodge in brain arteries and cause strokes that happen just when you're unconscious and can't call for help. One of the stories that impacted me the most is that of Dorrit, an 82-year-old woman who lived alone. Every night at 11 p.m., she took a hot bath, a moment of peace after a day spent caring for her family. One morning, her son called and sensed something was wrong. Dorrit had difficulty speaking. When he arrived, he found her confused, sitting on the sofa, unable to move her right hand. At the hospital, we discovered she'd had a stroke overnight. Tests showed she was dehydrated, and her blood pressure and everything else pointed to what I already suspected. That bath, which seemed to help her relax, had actually created the perfect conditions for a clot to form while she slept. Dorrit survived, but never fully regained her independence. The ritual she thought beneficial ended up stealing from her. So pay attention. Your aging brain no longer handles circulatory changes as well as it used to. At night, when blood pressure naturally drops and your body works to repair itself, the additional stress of a late shower may be too much for it. If you like showering at night, try to do it earlier, no later than 8 p.m. Give your body time to stabilize before bed, and don't forget to rehydrate after your shower. Protect your brain during these vulnerable hours because nighttime strokes are the most cruel. They steal the future while you're dreaming of it. How to bathe safely after age 60. After learning about these 5 dangerous habits, it's normal to feel a bit scared or even overwhelmed. But no, this is not my intention. My goal is to give you powerful knowledge that could quite literally save your life. The truth is simple, but concerning. Aging changes everything. Your heart doesn't beat with the same strength. Blood vessels become rigid and less flexible. Your kidneys work more slowly to filter blood. Your body reacts differently to temperature changes. And your brain, so precious, depends on a delicate balance of oxygen, blood flow, and stable blood pressure. Even something as ordinary as a shower can tip that balance if we don't pay attention to timing. temperature, and duration. That's exactly what I've seen in many of the cases I've treated. Strokes not caused by obvious risk factors, but by habits we would never have imagined dangerous. But here's the good news: knowledge is power. With some simple adjustments to how, when, and where you shower, you can protect yourself from these hidden dangers. Don't stay in the shower longer than 10 minutes. Avoid extreme temperatures. Choose lukewarm water safe for your system. Never bathe immediately after eating or taking medications. Wait at least an hour. Ensure the room is well ventilated. Open a window or turn on a fan. Shower earlier in the evening, not later than 8 p.m. Rehydrate after your shower. Pay attention to what your body is telling you. Dizziness, sudden weakness, blurred vision, these are not just signs of aging. They are clear warnings that your brain is in danger. Because the truth is harsh, life can change in an instant when a blood clot lodges in the wrong place. Independence lost in seconds. Words stolen in a single night. But I've also seen the other side. Simple shifts in awareness, honoring your body's limits, tweaking the smallest details of your routine. This can help people age strong, safe, and independent for much longer. So take care of yourself, your body is precious. Bathing, if done mindfully, can be your moment of self-care, not a hidden risk.